Right, we'll go ahead and get started. Reminder, there's no cell phone recordings of this. Please make sure to silence your cell phones or any electronic devices, and make sure to give your name and affiliate when you ask a question. We're joined by Duke head coach Marissa Young and players Lily Walker, Jada Baker, and Giselle Tapia. Coach Young, sorry, if you don't mind giving an opening statement, then we'll go to questions.
Sure. We're super excited to be here as a new program on the big stage for the first time. Really proud of this group and this team and everything that they've accomplished and overcome this year, the adversity that they faced to get here, and we're excited to compete for a national championship.
All right, open for questions. Front row on the left.
Mason Young with the Tulsa World. Coach, I'm wondering if you could just reflect on what it was like facing Oklahoma the first time and what you feel like is waiting for you tomorrow. And then, Lily, for you being from Oklahoma, what does it mean to you to get to come back here and play on this stage for the first time?
Sure. We've talked about it as a group. Obviously, we played Oklahoma the very first game of our season. Still had a lot of nerves to get out, but it was a very competitive game. Once Cassidy Curd settled in, it was good. We had a lot of balls that didn't fall. So we walked away from that game really confident and understanding what things we needed to do to get better as a team. Obviously, it's the postseason. They're a different ball club, so are we. And we know it's definitely going to be a tough battle tomorrow and a chess match, a lot like our super regionals of teams punching and punching back, and we just want to be the grittiest, toughest team on the field.
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up coming to watch Women's College World Series with my family, and so it's pretty surreal to come and just practice on the field and actually be in it this year. So I'm just so excited that I get to do it alongside my best friends.
All right, we go front row to the right with Jenny.
Lily, can we dig into that a little bit further? What are your memories? Where did you sit? What sort of stands out from the times you came as a kid?
Yeah, I was just telling them earlier, I have a photo of like a family photo where we were on the field, and it's like me probably like 10 or 12, like my chubby, like little fat stage type of thing. And so now just like being an adult playing on this field, it's amazing because I've looked up to people that have come before me and played this game for so long. And so it's so awesome to see all of our hard work and teamwork that's gone together to make this team culture so great to get us here.
Hey, Marissa, can I ask you also, you mentioned first time here. We don't get a lot of newcomers anymore to Women's College World Series. To bust through and get here, what do you feel like has been important? I mean, I know it's not just this team, it's other teams, other seasons, but what do you feel like has really been important to get you guys to the point where as a newer program you could get to this stage?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, having the opportunity as a player myself to be here 2 out of my 4 years was really instrumental of understanding how difficult it is to get to this stage. It takes the right group. It takes a lot of things to go well for you, a little bit of luck along the way. But as you all know, this year in college softball, there is so much parity, and it is anybody's game on any given day. And I think what I love most about this team that has got them to this point is their consistency of how they've showed up every single day, regardless of who their opponent was. They've understood what they need to do and how they need to play Duke softball to be successful. And I think that the consistency in their work is what got them to this point.
All right, we'll go to Cliff on the second row on the left here.
Yeah, Cliff Brunt, Associated Press. Coach Young, she just talked about breaking barriers. Also, very few black coaches in softball. For you to have broken through and gotten to this point, what does it mean to you, and what do you think it can mean for black coaches going forward?
It means a lot. I didn't have that as something to see growing up. And obviously in taking the job here at Duke, I understood that I had an opportunity to do something that's never been done. And it's taken players like these sitting next to me that believed in me and the vision that we had the commitment to the program and our core values to get us to this point. But I love just looking at our team, and all the diversity and everything that we stand for is really, really special. And I hope that it continues to open up doors for others, both in the professional setting, but also players, that want to play at this level.
All right, we've got a second row on the right to Joe.
Marissa, Mike White talked about how it's a huge advantage for Oklahoma to always have the World Series in Oklahoma City. I know this is your first time here as a coach, but having come here as a player, I just wanted to get your thoughts on what you think of this kind of being the permanent site.
I'm sort of the one that looks at things of it's a game. The game doesn't know, and we have to show up and be able to keep our composure and play great softball. No secret, it's to an advantage. A lot of these teams here, everyone but us has been here before. That obviously works in their favor. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to how well we play and how gritty we are for 7 innings.
All right, we'll get a second round on the left over here.
Jaden Watson-Fisher, Raleigh News and Observer. For any of the players, not softball related, but what has your favorite activity been in your kind of pregame stuff so far?
I guess we have like a couple of sophomores, like 4 of them that make raps, and they do it like every pregame. So I guess that's like my favorite part. They always make it up, like it's not the same thing any time. So it's really funny, and it gets us like free and not tight to start playing the game and everything.
Any more players?
My favorite was probably by far going to the museum. I do have a couple of friends from other teams, so just seeing them and being able to interact with not only them but my teammates is such an awesome experience, and I'm just so grateful to be here.
I think my favorite pregame activity would be playing hacky sack. I think a lot of us pitchers do it when they're like our hitters are hitting, and so it's just something to loosen up the muscles, but it's also fun, kind of a silly game to play.
All right, we'll get a third row on the left here.
Jenna Becerra, D1 softball. Coach, I know we talked about how it's only been 7 years that the Duke softball program has existed. So we'd love to hear your thoughts, but then also the players about not only being here for your first time, but also for the first time for the program and being part of a legacy like that.
I think the attitude, we weren't just happy to be a new softball program. We wanted to be great. We wanted to compete for championships from day one. So for us to win our first ACC championship in year 4 was really the foundation of that. And since then, every group has been on a mission to take the program to the next steps. And we definitely come into this College World Series with the same mindset. We're not just happy to be here for the first time. We want to win and we want to compete.
Yeah, I think each and every year that we come, starting in the fall when we start to train, we're thinking, how can we break through the next barrier that's been set by the people that came before us and really buying into the culture that they've instilled in this program. Duke is excellent. Like everything that we do is we're breeding excellence. We're trying to maintain excellent culture at all times. And so I think that as like every time we come to practice, we just want to make each other better, push each other to be the best that we can. And that's really what's propelled this program forward. It's the day in, day out training.
Yeah, I will say we do grind for sure, but the biggest thing is like building relationships. Like we're so close, like we would honestly die for each other is what it feels like. So I think having that is really what helps us go so far.
Yeah, to touch on all of that, I think I've been here the longest. I am a 5th year. So being out here for the first ACC win and super regionals and regionals, I think going off of all of those wins, but also all of the losses, we're a team that learns from failure, and I think that's what makes us so resilient, and that is the reason why we're here.
All right, we got a Myron on the second row.
Myron Patton, OKC Sports Radio. Coach, you mentioned you played Oklahoma at the beginning of the year. Where have you come from as far as improvement since then? And Giselle, you just mentioned you're a 5th-year senior. Where's the program come? Everybody wants to get to this point. Just talk about where the program has come to allow you to get to this point.
Go first.
Okay. Yeah, I think we joke a lot about we didn't have a lot of fans, and one of our old players, she's a manager now, but her grandparents were only fans. So I think coming from that, we really had to work. Like I think we had to build this program, and those that came before me instilled a culture of excellence, but also work ethic, not only on the field but off the field. So I think that living that standard on and off the field allowed us to be great, but also be willing to put in the extra that got us here.
How we've grown as a team, so many ways. I think we've continued to develop the depth in our pitching staff, and Jayla and Cassidy have been phenomenal starters for us. Lily Walker, in my opinion, is one of the best closers in the country, and she's done that all year for us. Offensively, what makes us special is on any given day, it's somebody stepping up in the lineup. Obviously, Claire Davidson and Amina Vega have been phenomenal all season long, but on any given day. In super regionals, it was Deanna stepping up big or Frankie Freelick. And our team really thrives off that. We don't rely on one particular person to get the job done. It's next man up mentality, and I think that makes us a really tough team to beat. We've also, found different ways to score runs, and even when we're down, we fight and we find ways to win. And so I think we've continued to develop resilience and be the team that finds a way to get the job done.
All right, we'll go to second row on the left here to Scott.
Scott Wright with the Oklahoman. We got to hear Lily's old memories of this event, but Jada and Giselle, I'd like to hear some of your early life memories of maybe watching this on TV or playing a travel ball tournament here, anything like that.
Yeah, well, I've never been to Oklahoma, but like just being here and seeing the stadium is insane. Like I've never seen a softball stadium so big. So I think it's just going to be awesome to be in that environment and truly take it in and just step back and not really worry about softball for a second and truly take in how amazing it is to be here.
Yeah, some of my early softball memories were watching the College World Series. I know one of my favorite players was Sierra Romero, and watching her perform on the stage, but also having Sydney Romero as a coach last year, kind of just intertwined, but also being here now for myself it's so amazing, and I can't thank my team enough for being able to get here, but also just the gratitude I have for my family, my parents, like supporters. So I think the biggest thing for me is that I made the little girl on TV, who I was probably 12 years ago, so happy.
We got a second row on the left here.
Jane Watson-Fisher, Raleigh News and Observer. Every team wants to be here, and once they've been here a couple times, it's still special, but it's like, you've done this. For a program doing this for the first time, you're doing the ESPN promos and all of that stuff. Was there a moment where you're like, holy crap, like we're actually doing this?
I think it is. It takes you back for a second, but I also think that like we had this goal in mind whenever we first started training in the fall. Like it's no surprise that we have the talent and like we deserve to be here. We've gone through the adversity. We've stayed together even in the toughest of times. So I think that of course the stadium's amazing and all the stuff that we're getting is so great, but we have the talent and we deserve, like we're going to compete in this tournament.
I think what's really cool from a coach's perspective is to know that along the years, so many of them have heard that they needed to go somewhere else to get to this stage. And, they chose Duke not only because of the education, but they believed in, even as a new program, that we could do something special. And so I'm just really happy for them that they're getting the best of both worlds to get the best degree in the country and also competing on the highest stage.
We'll go front row left here to Barry.
Yeah, Barry Trammell, Tulsa World Lily. You were playing softball somewhere else, but the tornado came through Claremore and Pryor. I know. Did it do any damage in Inola, which is just a few miles? And was your family affected?
No, my family was not affected. I'm from Inola, like you said. But yeah, of course, prayers and thoughts go out to all those that were impacted by that. I know there were a lot of churches and people getting together to support those. So really thankful for the community that is. From Oklahoma, it's amazing to see.
All right, we have a question on Zoom from Eric Lopez.
Coach Eric Lopez, D1 softball for Coach. Coach, take me through this process from that moment that the final out is recorded in Missouri, and you realize that what you've been building is gotten here to the World Series, and that incredible moment, and yet maybe a couple days later, you got to turn the page and get ready here for the World Series in Oklahoma City. Take me through those handful of days and the emotions and what it's been like.
Sure. I think it started actually in the ninth inning. I decided to move from usually front of the dugout to the end of the dugout. I needed to find another spot to shake up the mojo. And the minute I sat down on the bucket, I just said, you know what, God, I don't know how this is going to end, but I know that you've got us. And in that very next moment, it felt like the pitch being delivered to Deanna Jennings was in complete slow motion, and then we watched it leave the park. And I knew at that moment that we had scored the one that was going to be enough. Thankfully, we scored some insurance runs, but it was just really incredible to see them rally and continue to fight, through 9 scoreless innings before they broke it open. And it was definitely that, oh my gosh, we've finally done what we've wanted to do the last couple of years. It was pretty heartbreaking not to get there last year when we thought we would. So this year definitely made it all the sweeter. And then, yeah, you wake up the next day and you look on the dresser and you're like, okay, the championship hat is still there, so this is real. But you really quickly have to flip the page and start planning for next steps, logistics of how to get to the World Series. And then the scouting report starts and prepping the team physically and mentally for what's to come. And so it's been really a tough balance of trying to balance enjoying the moment and enjoying what we've accomplished. But this group knows they are not done, and they're hungry for more.
All right, that'll wrap things up for Duke. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oklahoma State's up at 3:25, by the way.
Thank you all.